Be honest, every time you open up FL, you low-key scared the next beat's just gonna sound like the last one. Not trash, but unforgettable. I've been there and I dealt with that for many years in my career, and I found a few tips and tricks that might be beneficial for you if you find yourself in that position. Let me flip that and show you how to build a sound that artists actually recognize as you, even if your beats aren't industry standard yet. And if you don't know me, I'm Cam. I'm a Billboard #1 and platinum producer with over 1 billion streams. So look, before you even worry about trying to dial in on your sound, you gotta get comfortable making good music that sounds like everybody else first. And I know that sounds kind of weird. Well, that's because mastering the basics is step one. You've heard it a million times, but it's in the process of making what already sounds good that helps you to find what makes you you. Okay, so section 1, I just touched on this a little bit, so I'm just gonna knock it out the way now. If you can't make a good beat that sounds similar to the other producers that you look up to, you might want to try to dial that in first, because here's the irony is that you start to develop your own sound in the failure of replicating somebody else. Because here's the thing, even if you try to completely clone somebody else, let's say you try to completely clone their style, their sound selection, whatever, nobody's gonna come up with 100% the same ideas that you are gonna come up with, because only your brain is gonna have your ear, your timing, your instincts, etc. 20 different people can be given the exact same sounds, the exact same brief, but all 20 beats are gonna sound completely different. And I bet you out of those 20 people, there's gonna be some that's ass and there's gonna be some that's really fire. So again, that failure to replicate is actually like your DNA shining through per se. So before we talk niche, before we talk branding, before we talk about standing out, competence comes first. It's not perfection and it's not placements, it's just the ability to make something solid. So that's number 1. Okay, so once you start making decent music that sounds like the stuff that you like to listen to, then you can start asking yourself the real question, which is what lane do you want to live in? The niche that you pick is not just the genre, it's an identity to you as a brand, as a producer, and how everybody else is going to perceive you. For example, with me, I ended up going with the pain niche, and even though I have placements with 21 Savage, with Quavo, with Lil Baby, most people recognize me as a pain producer because that is how I decided to build my brand up. The upside with that is that I still make pain, and if anybody needs it, they know to come to me. And they know that I'm going to be one of the top guys in that niche because I've been working on my craft for so long. So back to the niche is the emotion that you deliver to the people. So you have to figure out what message are you trying to convey to people? What do you feel most comfortable with expressing through your music? And again, for me, that's pain, but it's not like the depressing, super sad street pain that you used to hear. And my pain is more up-tempo, more complex, it uses a lot more instruments, and it's more uplifting and inspirational more than it is depressing. It's the type that kind of feels like heartbreak and healing at the same time. And that's what helps me to stand out in my niche. Your niche needs that kind of clarity, because if you go with trying to do absolutely everything, then you're just gonna blend in with everybody else. A jack of all trades is a master of none, right? So you really got to dial in, figure out what your specific sound's gonna be, because I'm gonna be honest with you, you're not gonna go anywhere if you don't get that down, get your niche down. All right, now we're in section 3, which is identify what makes you stand out. And now we're starting to get into the real things that actually start to develop your sound. So once you know your lane, now it comes the real work. You have to figure out what makes you distinctly sound like you. What do you do without even trying? What do you do that when the artist turns the beat on, they immediately know it's you? Or anybody, as a matter of fact, not just the artist, anybody. So again, what do you do without even trying? What do you gravitate towards? Is it a certain instrument that you like to use? Is it a rhythm? Is it the way you process your melodies? Is it like a BPM range? Is it just the overall vibe? Whatever it is, you got to figure out what that is and stick to it. So going back to me as reference, my entire sound is built around live instrumentation and incorporating live instruments into my samples. So even if it's not in that pain niche, when I'm creating other genres like trap, R&B, or you know, whatever it could be, I'm still working on always trying to implement live instruments into my samples. That's just one thing that helps me to stand out. So that kind of goes into leaning in on your strengths. You have to figure out, again, what skills do you have that maybe other people don't have? Or again, just figure out what feels comfortable to you. What do you keep falling back into without even thinking about it? Another thing is that in any of my samples, I always have different sections. So I have switch up sections. I pretty much always incorporate my synth and my effects pedals into it. So my sound is a lot of just merging a lot of different things together and figuring out how to make it sound comprehensive and make it not sound too complicated. So even though I'm using synths and effects pedals and guitar and piano and whatever else in my melody, melodies using all the same instruments. I could be making trap, I could be making pain, I could be making all different types of things, and it can all sound different, but it's about me going back to my fundamentals and using sounds that are consistent throughout my samples that kind of gives me an identity. So that's my fingerprint. When people hear that, they know it's me. You need to figure out your fingerprint, figure out what you're already doing that you can use to make a signature sound. All right, section 4, embrace what your brain naturally does. So I literally just touched on this, so I'm gonna make this section very brief. So here's the thing, your sound isn't gonna come from the synths, the guitars, the pedals, the etc. that I was talking about. It's about your habits. It's gonna be your instincts, your taste. What do you think sounds good? Going back to what I said before, only your brain is gonna have your ideas and work the way that yours does. So if you keep using certain chords, if you keep using certain drums, if you keep, relying into certain certain processing techniques, you don't have to feel ashamed that you keep repeating those techniques, because a few reasons. First of all, it's gonna help you build your sound like we've already been talking about. But second of all, while you're building your sound and you keep using these chords or these techniques, you might run out of ideas, right? And that sounds bad, but it's only gonna force you to be more creative and try new things that you might not have before, all while, again, building your sound up. So stop fighting your natural tendencies and lean into them. All right, now we're in section 5, which is when to stop experimenting. So this is a kind of tricky one because you always want to stay experimenting to a certain extent, right? You want to keep trying new things. You want to keep trying to innovate always, but innovation is different from experimenting, but you need to experiment to innovate.
What?
I'm gonna try to make this as simple to understand as possible. There's a point producers can hit where experimenting actually starts hurting their sound rather than helping it. And here's what you have to do. You just have to keep experimenting, keep trying new things until something consistently feels good. If you have something that is working for you, don't abandon it. Keep exercising that muscle, keep working on that skill. Because guess what? Consistency is how you're gonna make yourself recognizable. That's how people are gonna turn on your beats and instantly know it's you. Producers get stuck. They're worried about getting new plugins every week. They're worried about getting new packs every week, when really they just need to focus on leaning into what's working for them and developing that style. The people that are all over the place and always trying to do everything never end up building an identity, and that is probably something that you're falling victim to, because I fell victim to that for a very long time without even noticing it. So even if in the moment you don't think it sounds like the most unique thing, if it feels like you, run with that shit, lock it in. And at the end of the day, just keep building ideas that sounds good. All right, so just some final words, some final thoughts to wrap everything up. At the end of the day, just have fun with the music. Like, you ain't gotta worry too heavily about what other people are doing, what is popping off right now, because this industry moves so quick, bro. Like, if you try to really focus in on a sound that's only big right now and it's not something that you really like to make, the second that sound falls off, bro, so do you. So here's the thing, even if the music that you're making right now doesn't sound like it's gonna go anywhere, you don't really know who could get on it necessarily, good music will always come on top at the end of the day. I've made literally some of my most experimental samples ever, and I was like, bro, I don't hear nobody going on these, but the samples was so crazy that I ended up getting major placements on them. And it was like people that would never even get on that type shit. Also on the flip side, I made stuff like 4 years ago that nobody was hopping on them beats back then, and then they started hopping on it now. Like a new wave came up again like 4 years later. So you just never know which direction this industry is gonna move in. And honestly, if you're making stuff that doesn't sound like what anybody else is getting on, that's good at the end of the day. Like, it's just gonna help you stand out that much more. So again, the most important thing is to have fun with it, because if you don't have like a true genuine love and passion for music, then this industry is not for you. You are not gonna go anywhere. And like, maybe you will for a little bit, but there will be no longevity that comes with that. All right, but if you made it this far, let me know if you like, kind of like these more sit down videos where I'm sitting directly in front of the camera and kind of just like podcasting to you guys, or if you'd like to see me do more cookups, more tutorials, so you can kind of see my creative process and how I go about, incorporating my signature sound into my samples. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I'm making the videos for y'all, so just let me know what you think would be beneficial to see me cover or to see me do in any future videos. But I appreciate you watching this far. If you're not subscribed, I'm always dropping new sauce, so go subscribe. If you found this video helpful, click the link at the very top of the bio where you can get exclusive insider tips from me, as well as free sounds and exclusive packs. Follow me on Instagram at ProdByCam if you found this helpful, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.